From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022 tonight. In tonight's recording, we go over the Build Back Better Act that passed in the House, now in the Senate. We go over CR for stimulus, first unveiled on this channel 1.0 no less than 2 weeks ago, that spurred the House Democrats to launch 2.0 as well. That's now passed in the House. It's over to the Senate. The senators, meantime, say that they have their body of legislation ready to send out economic recovery, and they vow to merge it with the House Democrats' version. That's 3 merging with 2. Meantime, breaking news updates tonight about 4.0. What's happening with that Russian sanctions bill that could have stimulus inserted in there as well. All at issue is the calendar, the Senate calendar, and Chuck Schumer giving indications about what will get done, and some stuff not particularly clear. Plus, we'll be looking back at what Joe Biden can do to repurpose money for you. It's huge. It's lots of money. And then SS200. It's been now over a year when we first heard SS200. But does Joe Biden have an opportunity to give you an additional $200 a month if you're on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI? He does. Can it be no more than 6 to 12 months? It can. It can be lifetime. And in this recording, I'm going to show you how to get those sums of money. Then we'll be turning back to third stimulus and show you how to get tens of thousands of dollars this week. Viewers continue to get it because it's third stimulus and there's a lot of it. A big recording tonight with a lot of breaking news, and we're going to go over it all across the board. The Build Back Better Act in the Senate. The CR for Stimulus 2.0, now in the Senate, vowed to be merged with 3.0. CR for Stimulus 1.0. But can they get it done this month? The latest breaking details from Leahy and Schumer. And then 4.0, what's going on for Russia? Meantime, repurposing money. And then also SS200. There's a lot of money in tonight's recording. Everything is here. The lobster shorts, not so much. The bacon, missing. Sirloin, missing. Well, almost everything is here. But sirloin will be back soon. Those incredible details start right now, right this evening on Evenings LA. Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well as we go into a big weekend with a lot of legislation at issue and a short time frame to get it all done. Very exciting. We're going to go over the Build Back Better Act that is going to get those Senate changes with an MSC. We're going to go over CR for Stimulus 2.0 that will be merged with Senate version 3.0. We'll go over the possibility to get 4.0 done and the big money under the Build Back Better Act. Third stimulus, no time to wait for that. You can get it today. In the latest video, stay at the very end. I'm going to show you how you get tens of thousands of dollars. Plus, we'll be looking at the opportunity to do SS200, the additional $200 a month if you are on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. From Joe Biden right today without waiting for an act of Congress and then repurposing money. We have a lot of details in tonight's recording. It's brand new. It's breaking news. I'm excited you're here. But first, I want you part of this incredible family. This incredible family as you're watching LA, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. I need your help. Subscribe right now to bring us to number 2. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member to get the incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, the link to which is under the video's description. Sign up for those LALATE alerts right now to get that incredible newsletter. And stay with us because we got shows all throughout the night with Countdown, Extra, and Street and Stimulus coming up tonight. And with that, let's go over this incredible Build Back Better Act. 3 clusters, 3 add-ons, checks, lots of it, amounting to somewhere between $15,000 to $60,000 of checks. You're ready to go over them? I am as well. Let's do it. Here we go. The first cluster has in there hazard pay, $4,000 of care, $4,000 to care for young children. They got the CTC, Child Tax Credit, $3,600 in there. The money to care for young children got in there as well. the $550 check for the Pell Grant, the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, and home repairs if you live in a low-income community. Wow, that's incredible. They got it in there. Now, there is 3 add-ons of checks. And the first add-on of checks is really incredible. It comes from Southern California here in Maxine Waters, and it's the one that makes so many viewers of this channel so excited. Approximately, a little bit less, but approximately $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Wow. This is money given from the federal government to the seller in your name at the time of escrow. Huge. And again, that's for the purchase of your first home. Incredible. Now, that is the first of 3 add-ons of checks. With that, you're ready for the second cluster of checks? I think you are. The second cluster of checks has a lot of incredible money in there, and let's look at it right now, and here we go. Home repairs and paid leave. Paid leave, a lot of money. And home repairs, wow. This is to weatherize your home, these type of home repairs. And the paid leave, a lot of money. How much is it? Let's go over the details. If you make $70,000 or more per year, it is $1,700 a week. If you make $35,000 or more per year, it is $800 a week. If you make $15,000 or more per year, it's $400 a week. How many weeks? 4 to 6 weeks per year. So yeah, it's a lot of money. $4,000 to $6,000 a year. And that is across the board. The great news is that it's W-2, 1099, it's everyone. And if you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, then they're going to get the check for the household if they have to take off from work for you across the board. And that is paid leave, huge in there on the House side, staying in the Senate side. Now, that tees us up for the second add-on of checks. You know what it is. What is that number? Jump in the live chat if you know the number. There is someone posting the number. I see it right now. It's $250 billion of free home health care, just a little bit less, but that's as proposed, a little bit less. It is from Bob Casey. Free home health care if you're a senior or person on disability. Wow, got it in there. Which tees us up now for the third cluster checks. Free internet. Money for the free school meals for all, checks. Independent contractor, checks. Farmers, checks. And then it gets even better with money for the seniors. First, the Medicaid gap fix on the House side, and then the hearing. But the Senate is vowing to add 3 other checks, which are dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. Wow. Which is par for the course of when we're talking about adding checks in there on the Senate side, which is what we're talking about when we get that third add-on of checks. If you're in the live chat right now, write the 3 letters. I see someone writing it. There it is, MSC. What is an MSC? Who gets it? What's the eligibility? How much is it? And how does it work? MSC is an instrument, a program that would insert additional checks into these multiple checks in this Build Back Better Act recon. MSC stands for Monthly IRS Stimulus Checks. And they're sent out from IRS. So who would get it? Eligibility, those legislators tell tens of thousands of viewers this channel, would be the same as a third. Single individual, $75,000 or less annual income, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less annual income, you get it, double it. Family 4, you get it, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security Rail benefits, you get it as well. It is not income, it's not taxable. It's offered nationwide and not state-by-state basis. It goes off of the most recent tax return. So if that tax return had a direct deposit account, that's how you get paid, otherwise in the mail. And it also pays adult dependents. There you go. So then, how much? $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months is what the legislators represent to the viewership of this channel. Incredible. And there you go. That is MSC. Where would this be added in there? Let's go over the details of its addition, because guess what? Very fascinating, and also tease up CR4 stimulus. It would be added in on the Senate side when they start to modify the House legislation. The House legislation passed in the month of November, thousands of pages in length, sent to the Senate, and they would send to the Senate subcommittee, then modify it, add the provisions in there, finalize a bill, call it for a vote on the Senate floor, then a 2-day voter enrollment, done. But that event has not occurred yet. That's why 2 Saturdays ago I brought on air the question, do you want to bring CR for stimulus back? And viewers said yes. So it's back. And the breaking news tonight is we have major updates about CR for stimulus 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. But first, what is this? CR for stimulus was an invention of this channel in 2020, when we were finishing up the first stimulus package. Millions of Americans needed more money. And that was what became the push of a proposed legislation, thousands of pages in length, called the second stimulus package, about 3,000 pages in length. The negotiators were Nancy Pelosi out of San Francisco on behalf of the Democrat Speaker of the House, and Steve Mnuchin, then Treasury Secretary on behalf of the Republicans, out of the Treasury. They negotiated in the spring, no deal. Summer, no deal. Fall, no deal. Winter, no deal. And then by December, I said, you know what? No deal. So I said, we need something else. And so off camera, I thought to myself, we got an issue here. 11 months of negotiations, no deal, no deadline, big bill, too big, 3,000 pages in length. What if I just use something different and advocate for using something different? So I looked high and dry and I finally found it. A continuing resolution. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted something bipartisan. It goes bipartisan. And what is the continuing resolution? Continuing resolution is a budget bill that's done every 3 to 6 months that funds the federal government. It fit absolutely everything I wanted. I want something that goes bipartisan. This does. Has an inherent deadline. This does. They may roll it over a day or a week, maybe a month, but not several months. Number 3, it's a small bill, just a few hundred pages, not 3,000 pages. And with that, I prepared how to make the first recording, how for us to advocate, and how to prepare for the criticism. And with that, in December 2020, I went on air. I said, hey, everybody, it's LALATE here. You are December 2020. And we've been looking at this second stimulus package for now 11 months. I said, it's time to try something in addition to it. And my creation is the following: CR for stimulus. Even in the live chat right now, write that hashtag campaign. This is why I want you to consider this now in December 2020, because there's a stimulus package heating. There is a continuing resolution deadline of next month, in December 2020. If we get a check in there, that goes out, it's done, it has an inherent deadline. Do you like the idea? Viewers love the idea. They love the idea because it was a way to get checks out to you quickly without waiting around, and because a continuing resolution would pass. And we advocated. And as soon as we advocated, guess what? As soon as we started to push for it, the criticism started coming on in. Don't belong in there, LALATE. You're crazy. No, I don't wear the lobster shorts. He's crazy. Let me tell you what my reaction was to the criticism. I said, you're right. It doesn't belong in there. It's a bill to fund the federal government while we put checks to the American people in there. Doesn't belong in there. Doesn't mean we can't. Since the start of Congress, legislators have put checks into bills that don't belong in there. They did it consistently during the pandemic. They put a relief to fund foreign military governments in there. In another COVID relief bill, they proposed to build a new FBI building. In another one, they proposed to send out money to the Department of Copyrights. So I know it doesn't belong in there. Let's advocate. And we did. And then we woke up one morning and we heard there's stimulus going in there, but it was the wrong stimulus. It was unemployment stimulus. So we pushed back again. And finally, it got in there. The $600 stimulus check. My creation, my idea, putting it in a continuing resolution, it became a law because of this channel. And that was sent out. Became law in December 2020, early 2021. Guess what? Second stimulus never happened. Second stimulus never sent out a penny to anyone. It never became a bill, never got a vote, never had a check. Thank goodness for CR for stimulus. So 2 weeks ago, I brought back on the channel. I said, you want to do it? Viewers said yes. And guess what? In less than 2 weeks, the Democrats and ironically, the Republicans you're hearing tonight both started doing their version as well. In the second half of this video, I'll explain to you why the Republicans are trying to do stimulus after months of us thinking they would never give us stimulus. I'll explain to you what's at issue tonight. But it started with the House Democrats, who less than a week ago, it's actually a week ago today, said, you know what, I like Build Back Better Act. It's good, it will pass, but we need to get other economic recovery legislation, pieces of legislation, plural, done, in addition to Build Back Better Act, and we're going to get one done as early as 24 hours from now. And guess what? Last Friday it passed. It passed in the House. We'll be analyzing that after the commercial break. It's CR for Stimulus 1.0. It's CR for Stimulus 2.0. Guess what gets even better? The Senate Republicans were watching what the House Democrats are doing and saying, I like what you're doing. I'm doing our version. It's called I'm going to call it CR for Stimulus 3.0. And they represent, they're going to merge the two together. 3 and 2, wow, can we get better than that? We have 4.0. But 4.0 is getting a little confusing. Why? Because of a series of comments or lack of comments from Chuck Schumer in the last 24 hours. I'll explain the latest details on that. Plus, can there be more money for us on top of that? There can. And the second half of this video, I'm going to go over not only the CR for Stimulus updates and the Build Back Better Act checks, but I'm going to go over what Joe Biden can do. He promised you $200 a month if you're on Social Security on top of your existing benefits, 6 to 12 months. He has not delivered. And other Democrats in his party promised that as well. It's been 2 years tonight, and I'm going to show you why the president can do it right now. He should not wait. He should listen to that kid from California and send it out right now. He does not even have to lift a finger or write an executive order. It's very simple. All the latest details on that SS200 2.0. And tonight we're going to look back on the history of it over the last 2 years. Can you imagine it's been 2 years? Then we will be looking at the opportunity to repurpose existing money done under the Trump administration, can be done again under the Biden administration, repurposing money for existing Americans who need money in a time of relief. We'll be looking at that as well. Then we'll be looking at the big money that viewers continue to get from third stimulus. Boy, it's your opportunity, your night tonight to get that money. Viewers continue to get that money, and I want you to get it as well. It's a great night with a lot of money. All those incredible details coming up in the second half of this video. Stay to the very end. I'm going to show you how to get tens of thousands of dollars. As a big evening's LA continues, see you back in 60 seconds as evening's LA continues shortly. But first, here's a little bit about the community page and the assistance that's out there if you need help finding any of these sums of money. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now as Evenings LA goes into its big second half with the latest update about CR for Stimulus 2, 3, 4.0, and 1.0. Meantime, the merger with the Senate approaches as well. Big money across this incredible Build Back Better Act. We'll be going over that money as well. And then we'll be looking at the opportunity for you to get tens of thousands of dollars. Viewers are getting it. I'm going to show you how to walk into the weekend with an extra $10,000, $20,000 in your hand. Then we'll be looking at the opportunity to do SS200 right today. You deserve it. Joe Biden can do it. I'll have the latest details in tonight's recording. But first, I need your assistance. I need you to go under this video and subscribe. You're watching the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, but bring us to number 2 by hitting that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Sign up for that incredible newsletter so you get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is totally free, a link to which is also in the video's description. And with that, we go into the big second half with the CR for Stimulus 1, 2, 3, and 4.0 updates tonight. A lot of details. I'm excited for you on everything that's happening, and we're going to go over each of them starting right now. CR for stimulus 1.0. That is the continuing budget. That is the continuing resolution. The original item advocated on this channel 2 weeks ago, and that reincarnated the version from 2 years ago. So what's the update on that? Chuck Schumer has this list out that he's mentioned and also written that talks about the short list of what he's doing between now and President's weekend break. This is on the short list. Well, of course it has to be on the short list because the federal government cannot default. So the good news is that the Montana Senator Democrat John Tester says it's going to get done in February. It's going to get done by its deadline in late February. Why? He says we only have 4 people at issue: Mitch, Chuck, Leahy, and a Republican. And if they agree upon the price tag, we're done. It only took about a week to write the bill at most, and then we're done. So what do you want to do? You want to advocate to those 2 Democrats in that 4-person group. Leahy, Senator Patrick Leahy, Leahy. He is from Vermont, Democrat. And Chuck Schumer, Democrat, New York. Saying 3 things. 1, get the continuing resolution budget bill done this month of February. Don't roll it over to March. Number 2, I've had your back through all the wranglings of the Build Back Better Act. You've always promised that we're going to get at least a stimulus check in the Build Back Better Act or more. Put at least one into this. I've had your back. I've been patient about Build Back. It will get passed. But it's been 11 months, Chuck. Get us a check. We've been patient along the way. And number 3, everyone wants the American people to have a check. So get it in there. And you did it before in December 2020 with Republican bipartisan support. You can get it from Mitch. I'm going to show you later in this video why I believe Mitch would give you a check. It's a whole new aura of bipartisanship that's really formulated in the last week. It's come up later in this video. So that is CR for Stimulus 1.0. There's another update for it, and it's on the House side. On the House side, they did something you may not be happy about, but I'm not going to put too much eggs in one basket over. They did a stopgap. Stopgap means they want to kick it to March. They think they're in the Super Bowl as kickers. They want to kick it to March. And they gave a stopgap option that can extend the continuing resolution to doing it in March. Now, the senators may simply say thank you, but I don't want that. So senators have not said any reaction to it. It's just out there. That's CR for Stimulus 1.0. Let's go to CR for Stimulus 2.0. So that came from the House Democrats. Pete Aguilar, Democrat House member, said that we must absolutely pass pieces of legislation that continue to alleviate supply chain issues and temper down inflationary pressures while still doing the Build Back Better Act. And the first one he said was going to get done and passed into law by last Friday. Well, passed in the House by last Friday. It did pass last Friday. So that is CR for Stimulus 2.0. It is an economic recovery legislation. It's not a package. It's not a behemoth. It's very small. And the great news is that it has bipartisan support. Guess what? It is now landed in the Senate, and the senators have their version. And the senators say, you know what? We're doing our version. We're liking that the House Democrats did their version. We look to merge them together. So 3 and 2 to merge. They're both economic legislation pieces to merge together. Which brings us then to CR for Stimulus 4.0. What is the likelihood of it surviving as well? This one's very fascinating. So this one's not an economic piece of legislation, but remember, it doesn't matter what it's called so long as you insert money in there. And this money is for, this bill is for the following thing: to sanction Russia. At issue is the 100,000 Russian troops at the Ukrainian border. So there's a bipartisan bill heating up in the Congress, namely the Senate, among Democrats like Bob Menendez and Republicans like Marco Rubio that says, you know what, we need to sanction Russia before they invade Ukraine. Very small bill. That's why we like it. Bipartisan. That's why we like it. Inherent deadline. Yeah, you do it before they invade. And very simple to insert checks in there as well. What's the update on this one? So Chuck Schumer, in that short list of things he wants to get done, did not mention this legislation. Chuck, what are we doing? We're waiting for Russia to invade Ukraine, and then you're going to sanction them after the fact? It doesn't work that way. So am I worried about this one? No, why? Because Bob Menendez is on top of this one. Bob Menendez, as I featured him in some of those videos from the middle of last year with the student loan debt forgiveness. He is a very, very old friend of Chuck Schumer. And they've already had conversations about this, not on the short list this week. They've had lunches and meetings and they've cracked the whip a few times on this one. So they're talking about it. I don't need to talk about it anymore. They know it needs to get done. You can't sanction Russia after the fact. So there you go. There is CR for symbols 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the President of the United States has 2 opportunities as well to get you money. And the first one is repurposing existing funds. The second one is SS 200. We're going to first start with the concept of repurposing money. How does this work? Well, there are lots of federal agencies, programs established by act of Congress. And when they're established, the law says, you run 6 months, you out in 12 months. Okay, so they run. And then when they're done, where does the money go? Well, if there's leftover money, it stays in the agency. And the concept of this part of the recording is to repurpose that money for additional purposes. How is this done? Very simply. Trump administration had 2 opportunities of which it bit at one of them. During the pandemic, millions of Americans needed unemployment assistance. The very first recording on this channel the very first day of recordings on this channel was FPUC and PUA. Millions of Americans depended on it. FPUC was that $600 a week that went on top of your PUA or UI. So it ran out, and Donald Trump wanted to extend it for additional weeks. But then President Trump said, you know what? Congress is just a mess. I can't get them on board. So let me do it my way by repurposing existing funds. He looked high and low to see who had extra funds. He found it at FEMA. FEMA, yeah, the fire, hurricane, tornado, emergency release disaster zone group. They had extra funds sitting around from prior COVID-led programs that had ended. He said, your money is repurposed for unemployment. Sound crazy? It can be done. And back went out. It became LWA. The second opportunity came from Donald Trump, but he didn't bite at it, and boy, was that a bad decision. $550 billion of extra money sitting at SBA. It would have gone to 2 stimulus checks. It was the topic of no less than probably 2 months of videos on this channel. Repurpose the money, Donald. Repurpose the money. How do you repurpose the money? SBA would have sent out the check, or the federal government would have sent out the check from SBA money, and you would have gotten 2 stimulus checks right before you voted who you want for president. Make a decision. Make a change in your decision. It may have, because it could have been thousands of dollars right before you voted. And that was a missed opportunity. So Joe Biden can do this right now. He can repurpose existing funds from agencies that are now whose programs are now expired, but the money is still there. The only thing is we need to find out the money. And I've had a couple of viewers send me private messages. If you can locate the money, because a lot of viewers like doing this, send me a private message. I found extra money at this agency. The program is over, and we can advocate for its repurposing across the board. Now, let's go to SS 200, which is really fascinating. And this stimulus, my people on benefits and everything across the board. In January 2020, the first ideas of SS 200 heated up. I mean, ironically, let's look at that date. It predates this channel, so it's before this channel even existed. SS 200 first manifests itself during a campaign promised by Liz Warren for president in January 14th, 2020. Then she repeated again with Schumer Wyden on a Senate proposal on the Senate floor, March 21st, 2020. Warren then had a press briefing and wrote it out with Wyden in March 2021. That's about when this channel is about to start. About 4 days later, the channel launched. And then by summer 2020, Joe Biden understood the situation. Liz Warren was about to withdraw her campaign for president, and he wanted to adopt some of her policies, so he adopted this one, SS 200. And then he won the election, and in fall of 2020, as president-elect on JoeBiden.com, under the Biden Emergency Action Plan to Save the Economy, which is still on the website, you can read it yourself, he wrote the following. He will, when he becomes president on day one, increase monthly Social Security checks by $200 a month, as proposed by Wyden and colleagues. Seniors and people with disabilities are uniquely at risk right now, Joe Biden. Since then, we've also had 3 bodies of legislation introduced, none of which ever got it passed even to a vote. One from Sanders, Romney, and then Larson. So, what happened? Well, right after Biden came into office, fellow Democrats saw the same thing you and I saw, which is whatever happened to SS 200? Whatever happened to everything else that was in the Warren proposal, which I haven't gotten to yet? And they said, you know what, Joe, we're going to take care of it in Congress because you said you're going to do it. And we're going to call this fifth stimulus. It became the topic of the channel for over 6 months last year. Fifth stimulus, another recon that is a behemoth that would start by now. It hasn't. And that is why I brought SS 200 2.0 in the mix no less than a few days ago. Let's look at the issue. Fifth stimulus looks to remove the marriage penalty. Still got to do that by recon. President can't do that himself because it's a law. President cannot change a law. Remove the asset cap. Need to go by recon. Remove the income cap. Needs to go by recon. And then raise your benefits up with a new benchmark and give you an additional $200 a month. Oh, the president can do that without a recon or an act of Congress. How can he do it? I'm going to show you right now. There are all these enormous federal agencies out there. And these federal agencies don't have to have an act of Congress, of a law, to tell them how to tie their shoes or make their coffee. They can do it themselves without an act of Congress. And those agencies include the Social Security Administration. Well, do you remember last year, about this time, I featured an image. I can grab it and show it to you, but I didn't bring it on air tonight, of a guy named Commissioner Saul. He was then head of Social Security Administration. Joe Biden disliked him greatly. He was a Trump appointee, and when your third stimulus check did not land on time, oh boy, he was under fire. So Joe Biden fired him, remember that? And replaced him with his replacement. Well, Joe Biden has the opportunity to use a telephone. Yeah, you do too, but he has a better telephone. During the fall of 2021, Joe Biden used that telephone to pick up the phone and call SNAP, Department of Agriculture, saying, hi, this is the president. I know you do stuff the way you want to do it, but I have a recommendation for you. Pay more money in SNAP. You're not paying enough. And they did. They listened, and they're paying 25% more a lifetime. Well, Joe Biden can do SS 200 with a phone call, not executive action, not a recon, not a bill, a phone call to his new Social Security head and say, replace COLA with inflation. Have a good evening. Have a good life. Done. When he does that, if that person listens, which presumably they will because they were a replacement for Commissioner Saul, your benefits will go up an average of $200 a month. Just like Liz Warren promised. Only difference is she promised 6 to 12 months. This would be lifetime. Wow. So how does this work? First, let's go over the numbers of it, and then we'll go over the functionality of it thereafter. How do the numbers of it work? Well, COLA is your current benchmark. Inflation is the proposed benchmark. COLA is a benchmark that's been around for many, many years. And every December, they look at your benefit at the benchmark and determine whether your benefits will go up the next year. So maybe between 2010 and 2011, your checks are still the same amount. And 11 and 12, they're the same amount. But then 14 to 15, they went up $10. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, you do. So since last December, they went up 5.9% because your COLA benefits came in at 5.9%. Had they used inflation, they would have gone up 7.5% instead of 5.9%. That's a difference about $200 a month. Now, all that Joe Biden has to do is have a really good conversation with that Social Security head saying, you know what, I love you to death, but get rid of COLA, replace it with inflation. And then the inflation rate at 7.5% now actually may even be higher. That would be your lift up. You would be getting 7.5% per month more, not 5.9% more, which is additional $200 more per month lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Why did I tell you this, and why was I right about this a long time ago? There are very few times that I pat myself on the back, but this one, I think I'll indefinitely pat myself on the back with the inflation rate. Federal Reserve said the inflation rate in the United States in December 2021, last month, would be 1% to 2%. They said that all last year, and it would be temporary. Guess what? 0 for 2 on that one. It wasn't that rate, and it wasn't temporary. Wall Street says it's going to be 2 to 3%, temporary. 0 for 2 on that one as well for them. It wasn't temporary. It wasn't 2 to 3%. I said it was going to be 8%. It was not going to be temporary. 2 for 2 on me because it came in at 7.5% and it was not temporary. Breaking news you're hearing for the tonight on the first time on Evenings LA is a new report that came out just a few hours ago says that the inflationary rate you see right now is not going away this month or next month. It's likely to stay with us through the first half of this year and not settle down to the second half. Why? One of the major shippers by sea, barges across the country, across the globe, shipping things, says that the supply chain issue that caused inflation is still there. It's still here in second quarter, and it's not going away. Second quarter brings us all the way up to June. They say it's not going to go away until the second half of this year, which means the second 6 months of this year, which in essence means if Joe Biden picks up the phone, makes a call, and it's successful to call, the inflation rate right now may still be 8% or even higher. And there you go. That's how you get out that SS200 to millions of Americans. Repurposing money, SS200. Well, what's next? Let's go over to the incredible checks in this incredible recon and then show you how to get tens of thousands of dollars this day from third stimulus. Stay with me. I have a lot of checks coming up for you in this recording, still coming up in just a second. The incredible great news is that this Build Back Better Act has lots of checks in there, and let's go over them right now. Remember, these are all passed in November. They're still in there. You need to know what they are because when they become a law, you don't want to learn about them then. It'll be too late. They got in there the SALT cap, raising from $10,000 to $72,500 of what you can deduct and see in local taxes. So they got in there the cheaper prescription medication, growing from 20 to 30 medications by the year 2028, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, Medicare Part B and D, the most expensive medications across the board. Got those in there. Huge, huge, huge. Then they got the Medicaid gap fix, providing years of subsidized private insurance to low-income uninsured people in 12 holdout states. Huge across the board. Got it in there as well. They got $40 billion of free job training in there. Thank goodness for millions of Americans who want to take a higher paying job. They got in there the earned income tax credit, the hazard pay, 1 more year. They got in there the CTC, the child care, the household tax credit, the $65 a month for nutrition, the $550 check for the Pell Grant, and a lot of other things like the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. But they also got in there the housing. The housing is one of the best provisions of this recon, but it dates back to 2020. You see a lot of stuff still dating back on the channel in this recording. Yeah, this is the housing. The new provisions in there for housing are home repairs for low-income community and weatherize your home if you live near the beach. Stop by and say hello. And then the big money to give you for first-time home purchases, and then home repair, and then the incredible money for rent, utilities, mortgages, and more. The great news is that when third stimulus became a law, no one, even I, did not predict that third stimulus would have enough money to still carry us into early 2022. And it may be go on for months, but I don't want to bet that it goes on indefinitely. So I want you to get another pot of this money right now. We're going to go over how to get that money right now. With the rent, utilities, food, and internet mortgages, this is the big money. I told you to stay at the very end of this video, and here it comes. Get that pen and paper out. We're going to get rent, utilities, mortgages, and more, and boy, is it a lot of money. Let's look at that money right now because the issue is that it's still paying out. This was the numbers back in October. Wow, it has grown a lot since then. It's upwards of $40,000 right now. So where are you going to get it? 6 places. Follow along in the membership newsletter. If you're not a member, become a member. The link is under the video. Get that newsletter tonight at 7 p.m. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. 3 months. You must reach out to all 6 places. You must get application on file everywhere. And you must do multiple rounds. More about those multiple rounds in a second. Here is the utility assistance because of COVID. Boy, Mark's brother-in-law is getting $15,000 a year. Then SNAP, you want to get that from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to them. Eligibility is like a stimulus check. And boy, Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year over 10 years. That's $250,000. Combo. get 3 items or more. Nisi R. Sullivan did. Mark was only at 2 items at 32. I said, Mark, was your third item? He got it, brought him to 50,000. Now he's over 100,000. Lorraine, she was at 105. Now she's at 120. So get these big sums of money across the board. And what I want you to understand right now is the issue of rounds. When we talk about rounds, viewers got the first round from third stimulus as soon as it became law. So that was, January, February, March, April last year. Then they got a summer round. Then most of you got that winter round. You got in December and November for about 3 or 4 months of rent, and it's now ran out. So get this round as far out as you can, maybe to May. Then bring it back into April, March. They don't go out that far. New to this channel, reach out to the 6 places. A longtime viewer, reach out to the place you got money for before. And if they say they're out of money, then lean on the nonprofits. Finally, my commentary and sort of the clarity about why things seem to have changed so dramatically among Republicans and Democrats in the last 7 days. In tonight's Evenings LA, I have a new insight as to what's really going on. Have you noticed something? Yeah, you're not alone. Everyone's noticing that there's suddenly this era of bipartisanship manifesting itself in both the House and the Senate among Republicans and Democrats, suddenly wishing to pass legislation together. Yeah, maybe they're doing the other thing, but pass legislation together. What's going on? And what is my opinion of the situation? My opinion of the situation is seats for stimulus. It's a version of it. Do you remember when CR for stimulus first heated up? It was December 2020. What was happening in December 2020? Well, we had just sort of finished the presidential elections. We had just finished the senatorial elections, but guess what was still around the corner? Yeah, the Georgia Senate seats. Yeah, remember? The Georgia Senate seats were just a few weeks away. So Democrats and Republicans both want to look like they were there to help you. And that's what's happening right suddenly this week. They both understand, if they're smart, and they have generally been so far in the last week, that Americans are suffering inflationary pressures, suffering economic issues, and we need to do something to fix it. Running on a platform that it's bad and that the other side is to blame ain't going to get anyone elected. You actually have to show you did something. I called for a vote. It got voted on. It got passed. I called for a vote. The other side blocked it. That is what they're trying to do. And so suddenly, when we see CR for Stimulus 3.0 and 2.0 being merged among Republican senators and House Democrats, really surprising. When we see CR for Stimulus 4.0, a Russian sanctions bill, very surprising because, keeping the peace in the United States is a very common theme. And when we're looking at anything else at issue like not letting the government default, which has never been a priority of either party. No party wants that. They want to get it done. So, very similar? Yeah, we're just a few months away from those midterm elections. And the likelihood of them getting you money is very much at hand. Running away from the issue is not a solution. And that's why there's always encouragement coming at unexpected turns. The shows continue tonight, and next up, of course, is a whole slate of programming. Evenings LALATE every night is at 5 o'clock, then at 6 o'clock is Evening Countdown. Then we go into Evenings Stream Stimulus, Home Stream Stimulus at 7 o'clock. Chocolate cake, sugar-free, oh, deliciousness. Then at 8 o'clock is Evenings Extra. And then we go into our overnight shows at 9, at 10, 11:30. Back in the morning at 3 and 3:30 with Sunrise. And then we go into the 4 a.m. early mornings LALATE and the mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. And with that, if you missed my personal commentary on Afternoons LA, which aired right before this show tonight, let me give you a repeat of that as well. Just a quick insight. If you've been watching this channel since day one, which launched on April 25th, between April 25th and a year ago tomorrow, 2 days from now, there was a recording every single day. I never took a day off. And the only day I took off for the first years of this channel from April 25th, 2020 to 2021 was Super Bowl Sunday. And I actually took off all last Super Bowl Sunday and didn't record anything. Needless to say, I didn't enjoy the game. and regretted not recording. Yeah, so there you go. Super Bowl Sunday, back again. Will I be recording? I will be recording, even though it's in Los Angeles with the Rams. So I will have at least one show, I think, for you. But needless to say, keep on advocating, keep on supporting one another, keep on helping one another, keep on telling your friends to come on over, and keep on advocating for more sugar-free chocolate cake. Because that show is coming up tonight as well. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family. So with that, subscribe. With 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record, hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. A lot of legislation this year. CR for symbols 1, 2, 3, and 4.0. Then Build Back Better Act. Then repurposing existing funds of money across the board. Then doing SS200. Lots of legislation. Then if you see a pot of money that has not been repurposed and can be repurposed, send me a private message. I'll feature it on air. If you've had a success story for big money that you've gotten for third symbol, send me a private message on air. Have a beautiful evening. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.